Hello and welcome to this series of short complementary videos to the Supply Chain Management course by the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Gadjah Mada. In this course, we have learned about what supply chain is and why managing supply chains is of paramount importance for organizations. We have also learned that managing supply chains requires a deeper understanding on how to measure the supply chain performance. In this video, we will learn about different ways to measure the supply chain performance. We will briefly discuss terminologies used in supply chain performance measures such as OTIF, QSDFC, balanced measures, and supply chain drivers. Before we begin, we need to understand why measuring supply chain performance is important. Imagine a supply chain is like a series of interconnected chains on your bike. To make your bike move, the chain must stay interconnected and move together. When a single chain is broken, it could be disconnected from the whole series of chains, which now become useless. Your bike stops until the broken chain is fixed. The bike is like a company supported by other companies, forming a supply chain. When a single company within the supply chain does not perform well, it will affect another companies and therefore the whole supply chain operations. As such, maintaining the supply chain performance becomes critical. The question is, how to assess the supply chain performance? In this video, we will discuss 4 concepts commonly used to measure the supply chain performance. The first concept is OTIF. OTIF is a simple measure and frequently used to assess the supply chain performance. This measure focuses on product delivery to the customers or actors downstream in the supply chain. OTIF stands for On Time in Full. It simply means that supply chain actors need to deliver orders on time or as expected or agreed by the customers in the contract or service level agreement. It also means that the supply chain actors need to deliver the order in full volume specified by the customers. It could also cover how well the delivery matches with the full product specification required by the customers. OTIF is related to QSDFC, which stands for Quality, Speed, Dependability, Flexibility, and Cost. Supply chain actors need to ensure that the delivered products meet the standard quality expected by the customers. Speed can be measured using the lead time concept. There are at least 2 types of lead time. First, production lead time. That is the time required to produce the ordered products, or the time lapse between the firm receives an order and it finishes preparing or producing the order. The second type of lead time is called delivery or customer lead time. That is the time required to deliver the ordered products, or the time lapse between the customer places an order and the customer receives the ordered product. As such, the shorter the lead time, the better the speed performance of a supply chain. Dependability refers to how reliable are the supply chain actors so that the customers or another supply chain actors can rely on them. It also reflects on their commitment to meet the promised Service Level Agreement or SLA. For example, when a firm in a supply chain states that it promises 95% service level for its on-time delivery performance, it means that only 5 out of 100 deliveries are late. When this measure is met, we can say that the firm is dependable. Flexibility refers to how easy the supply chain actors adapt to any changes in their operations or customers' demand. For example, suppliers might stop their operations due to lack of raw materials or disruptions in their supply networks. Flexible supply chain actors will find ways to source their products from other available suppliers to maintain their dependability. When customers request changes in their delivery windows, flexible supply chain actors will strive to adjust their operations to meet the demand. The final element of QSDFC is cost, which can be seen from two different angles. The first angle is how competitive is the price offerings to customers. That is, how costly is the supply chain operations from the customer's perspective. The second angle is how efficient the supply chain operations itself. How efficient is their production, inventory management, distribution, and other related activities in the supply chain. Despite these important performance measures, another element should also be considered to balance the supply chain performance. Balanced in this case could mean several things. First, the supply chain performance should accommodate the stakeholders' interests, including customers, suppliers, employees, shareholders, government, and local community. Second, the supply chain performance should balance between financial and operational measures. It is also equally important for supply chain actors to pay attention to the process-based performance, such as the one suggested by the supply chain operations reference or score model, where the supply chain actors' performances are assessed by their planning, sourcing, production, delivery, and return processes. Another approach to measure supply chain performance is to attach it to the supply chain drivers. There are commonly 6 supply chain management drivers that need further attention: facilities, inventory, transport, information, sourcing, and pricing. Facilities refer to physical locations in the supply chain, such as factories, warehouses, distribution centers, and retailers. Examples of measures used to assess the performance of these facilities are capacity, utilization, processing time, production cost per unit, defects, cycle time, product variety, product contribution, batch sizes, and production service level. Inventory refers to raw materials, work in progress, and/or finished products within the supply chain. Examples of measures used to assess inventory performance are cash-to-cash cycle, average inventory, inventory turnover, safety inventory, inventory replenishment or fill rate, shortage, out of stock, overstock, and obsolete inventory. Transportation refers to any activities involving transportation modes to move products from one location to the other. Examples of measures used to assess transportation performance are transportation cost, which could include trunking and local distribution costs, shipment size, and transport cost per shipment. These measures are dependent on the modes of transport chosen by the supply chain actors. In this digital and internet-driven world, information might be one of the biggest drivers of supply chain performance. Supply chain actors could use data analytics to process relevant information to support the supply chain operations. Examples of measures used to assess the performance of this driver are forecasting accuracy, forecast horizon, frequency of updated information, transparency within the supply chain, and the ability of information to detect demand variability and even customer behavior. Next is sourcing, which deals with inbound logistics operations. The performance of this driver can be measured, for example, using purchase quantity, days payable, purchase price, supply quality, supply lead time, on-time deliveries, and supplier reliability. Finally, another important supply chain driver is pricing, which determines how much supply chain actors will charge for the products or services offered to the customers. Examples of important measures to consider are profit margin, fixed cost per order, variable cost per unit, sales price, and order size. We have learned that measuring supply chain performance is important and that there are several ways to measure the supply chain performance. Which way to choose depends on the need of and the strategy applied by the supply chain actors. I hope this video is useful and I'll see you in the next videos. Thank you and good luck.